This is day one of the limited championship event at SorceryCon 2026 in Indianapolis. At the top of the screen is my opponent Bailey playing an interrogator, and then I am at the bottom playing a spell slinger. So the limited championship was a 2-day event. Day one was a sealed tournament. I believe we played 6-round Swiss with a top cut of 64 players made it to day two. On day two, we did 8-man pods, single elimination, 8-man draft pods. So we drafted entirely new decks for day two. But in order to get to day two, you have to place in the top 64. Interrogator, in my experience, interrogator can be difficult. It just depends on what the curve of their deck is and if they draw what they need to draw to maintain that pressure. Turn two here. I think I'm thinking about my sights. I have a cursed desert and a bloom in my hand. And I think I'm just thinking about which one I'm going to end up needing more. Do I need to hold on to the accursed desert just in case he's playing something with wards on it that are going to be harder to deal with? And I think that's what I end up doing. I hold on to that one. Just in case there's a ward that I have to pop off early. And I play the bloom, and then 2 for a barrow white. So passing turn back to Bailey. He's going to tap for his second sight there. He's going to play a bloom as well and meet me in the center. 2 mana for a Gravedigger. The Gravedigger will burrow the white, but the white has burrowing, so it just hangs out under the Autumn Bloom site. And then moving forward with the skeleton, that was his turn. Turn 3 here. Drawing a spell for turn, so that does mean that I have to play that accursed desert. I was at that point where, that's sight 3 out of 3 in your starting hand, and if you want to hold on to that for future use, you have to spend your draw on turn 3 to draw another sight. If you want to hit your sight drops on turn 3, or just run the desert now and assume you're not going to get the additional value from the Genesis off of it. That's what I did. I didn't want to fall behind. I didn't feel like I could afford to fall behind on tempo too much with Interrogator. Interrogator is a deck that just kind of demands that you keep up, or you get into a very bad position, like I am about to be in. So turn 3, Bailey gets a Spore Spouts out, and with the Spore Spouts, he is able to cast both a Vampire Bat and I believe that was a Plague Rat onto my back row. Attempting to attack in with a Gravedigger for 2 points. And then I think I'm just deciding whether or not I want to trade with the Barrow White. And I think I do. Just because I can't... Any chance I have to remove a piece from his board at this point, I have to take. At this point in time, like the Game Boy that I brought, which was the life tracker, the batteries died on it, so I had to replace the batteries here. I was just looking for an opportunity to do that. I don't think neither of us had taken damage yet. I was still deciding if I wanted to defend. like I said, I feel... I'm pretty sure that I chose to defend at this point in time. I think I'm kind of telegraphing what I probably have in my hand, but I'm looking through my collection just because I'm really behind the ball at this point, and I need some solutions to take out these minions on my side of the board, or else just he's going to get an insane amount of card advantage, and he's also going to be able to or deal a ton of damage to me early game here. So I'm just like looking like desperately in my hand here to see if I have any solutions to at least maybe like just like getting like a 2-for-1 trade of some kind. And unfortunately, I think it's probably going to be slim pickings on that front. I am choosing to trade on the defend with the barrel white. And then like Bailey, I think like Bailey mistook the barrel white for the Noise of Twosome, the one that creates a skeleton token on death, right? So we were just having a quick discussion about that. It's like, no, like you like I don't get another token. And then I think he thought for some reason that his skeleton had died. I don't remember exactly what happened in that conversation, but it just reminded him that your skeleton's still alive. It can attack in, so it attack in for a point of damage. And then also more importantly, got itself into position to attack into my avatar. So here's me getting replacement batteries on the life counter. I don't bring the Game Boy life counter to matches normally, but I did for SorceryCon, just because SorceryCon is it's an event. It's a big event. It's a fan event. You're with other people who enjoy sorcery and just like being at that environment with that energy and having fun. So kind of that's why I decided to bring it for this, like just because it's a big exhibition. It's fun to kind of bring those types of kind of swag things that you wouldn't normally play with in your day-to-day sorcery life. And I got a lot of good received a lot of good feedback from people. Almost everyone that saw it or played against it or looked at it thought it was really neat, and I would tend to agree. I actually had a friend program the ROM for it, and he didn't actually know anything about sorcery. When we asked him if he would do it, we told him he was programming a life counter for Magic the Gathering. So it doesn't include thresholds, it only includes life, but he did add some additional fun features like random die roll selections and things like that. There's me just accidentally spilling all my spare sleeves across the board there, and then you're just double checking that I didn't accidentally add anything to the deck. And I said no, like they're all like blank, they're all blank sleeves. They're just like extras, just because like in case anything happens to a sleeve that you sleeved up your deck, you don't want an exact number. Like you want like an additional like 5 or something in case a sleeve splits. Because if a sleeve splits, then like what do you do? Then you're down a card, or you have to like run and try to find another pack of sleeves in order to re-sleeve and play your deck. But I'm casting a toolbox. Like I played a site, brought me up to 4 mana for turn, paying 2 for a toolbox, which gives me 2 mana to play something from my collection to deal with the heap of problems at my doorstep here. And I mean, I don't have good options. I think the the best I can come up with, if memory serves, is a one-shot wizard. And I'm spending a long time looking through the cards just to make sure there isn't anything better. But yeah, I play the one-shot wizard. I use the projectile to kill the plague rat. It puts down a defending body for me. And then pass turn. It's not ideal. It's not great. He can just remove the body. He can still get at least one attack in onto my avatar here. And I can't remove the bats, so you know the bats are going to stick around for at least one more turn. Meanwhile, he's sitting at 3 mana, playing a site now up to 4 mana. Choosing to use his skeleton just to remove the blocker, and then attacking in for 2 points of damage onto my avatar. And then I am opting at this point, because it's so early in the game, to take the additional 3 points of damage. So 5 points total from that swing. And then he's using 4 mana to play Monks of Kabasa. Which, looking back at the board state, I don't know if he actually has the threshold for it. I don't remember now what the site on his home site is. But the monks require 2 earth threshold. Either way, neither of us caught that during this game. And you know, mistakes happen when you're playing a game. So even if that's true, and you didn't have threshold for that, since neither of us caught it, you just kind of roll the game forward with that board state. In a tournament environment, it can get a little more tricky, just because you have to call a judge over when you realize that mistakes were made, and the judge makes a determination about how they are going to choose to roll that back, if they choose to roll that back, and then in what way to make it fair. But yeah, no, he has an open mausoleum there. So at that point in time, when he played the monks, he didn't have threshold. He would have threshold now, but he's swinging in for 4 points of damage, which I could not defend if I wanted to. I have that skeleton. The skeleton can't move to defend. Using the bats just to remove the skeleton, because I would have blocked it anyways if he chose to attack the avatar. I suppose he could have also chosen to attack the accursed desert just to sneak in 2 more points of damage and leave the skeleton in play. But I think he wants to keep punching down and clearing the board, just because he has a huge threat. He has a huge threat on my side now, in position to attack, you know, up to 3 sites, up to 3 of my sites in my area, as well as just attack into the spellslinger, which is the preferred action, right? When you're playing Interrogator, you always want to try to land. You always want to try to land those strikes on the enemy avatar to either get the extra damage or card draw. My response here, 5 for that zombie horde to kind of help deal with the monks and buy himself some turns. Unfortunately, he has a Gift of the Wolf, which is going to allow him to not only draw a card but remove the zombies with his monks. And then second verse, same as the first, just attacking in with the bats to clear out the skeleton again. Playing a Pith Imp on his back row there. Gets to take a card out of my hand and effectively just it might as well just be a discard. It is unlikely that I'll be able to get over there to kill that thing. He chose to do a random roll. He didn't want to be responsible for actually choosing the card out of hand, which is fine. He caught a Mesmer Demon from that. drawing a card for turn here. I'm really in trouble. Just because my way to deal with the monks was the zombie horde, and so now I think I am scrambling to find some sort of alternative, or to buy myself a little more time until I can draw an alternative to dealing with that. The bats also just a problem in general. Airborne was hard for my deck to deal with to begin with. I don't think I have a lot of airborne minions in my deck, if any. Holy Warrior coming down onto the board here, comes with a ward, so that maybe buys me a turn or two, and then the mummies coming over onto the desert. I don't know if that was a good placement for the mummies. I mean, I probably should have played it on the Autumn Bloom site, as well as the Holy Warriors, there. And I think my thought process at the time was, well, I want to make sure I have a defender in case he tries to like walk over to that accursed desert to attack. But I would also have a defend vector if the mummy was on the Autumn Bloom site as well. And then just having it central gives me more utility to defend, and I absolutely need more utility to defend at this point because I am on the back foot. He's getting out an undesirables with stealth from a dark alley, which is not great. Like, it can just attack in with impunity onto anything for 5 points of damage. But I think in retrospect, like having the mummy on the Autumn Bloom site at the time, like would have saved me from that bat attack there, and maybe would have allowed me to possibly get another skeleton on the board, keep another skeleton on the board to try to make something happen here. He's trying to attack in with the monks. I'm taking a block, defend with the Holy Warrior. That'll knock the ward off of it, and then passing turn back to me. So I mean, I still have, like I said, I still have the mummies on the board there. They're not in a good position to do much of anything, just because I played site forward, so I can't even use them to attack in for 3 points. Not that it does a ton of good to attack in for 3 points, just because he has those bats that will heal whenever they strike. It would have been, like I said, it would have been better there was a better site placement, I think, for those mummies, and I just didn't take it. Part of that is kind of when you play enough games, you kind of train yourself not to clump up your minions, just because there's a lot of ways in the game to get like 2-for-1 or 3-for-1, just because you have everything sitting on the same site, and then they do something like a cave-in, or a minor explosion or something like that. But in Gothic only, in the pool, I think you might be a little safer. There are still some things like Flame Strike that are going to deal damage to everything. But I think that might have just been like a calculated risk. And he's not in fire. At least he hadn't played a fire site up to this point. He is firmly in Earth Air. So I'm just jamming down defenders onto my home site here. I really can't. I can't afford to take an additional 3 damage on any attacks that get through. And I don't really want to just let him draw his entire deck. So he's choosing to attack with the monks. Here's another critical juncture in the game. I think what I should have done is double blocked with the martyrs and the holy warrior. That would have cleared the monks off of the table. I just removed that piece, giving me one less thing to have to worry about. But instead, all I did was just block. All I did was chump block it with the skeleton that I had. Bailey getting out a ghoul as well, just to keep piling pressure onto me at this point. It's just like everything is lining up and preparing to march down that center column to my home site to keep smacking me. He opted to just move with the undesirables. I think it might have almost been a stronger play for him to just attack in with them. Even though, again, that would have given me an option. That would have invited me to double block, I guess, with either the mummy and one of those 2 power minions down there, and then removed it. But at that point, it's just like any chance you can get to kind of like 2 for 1, like you lose 1 minion and your opponent loses 2 minions, is probably a better proposition for him than it is for me. Just because I can't really afford to lose those blockers. So I'm spending a lot of time thinking here, just because like I am in a very precarious position, and it does feel like every decision matters. Like I said before, like the decision before to not double block the monks when he attacked in. I think looking back on it, I made the incorrect call to just chump block 1. I should have double blocked it. Just because like now on my turn here, like even if I wanted to attack in with both of those things to try to trade 2 for 1 with the monks, he could just block 1 with his bats, and he'd trade the bats, but the monks would still be alive. So he just like I just like straight up don't have the option to make that trade, versus when he attacked in and he invited that trade himself. Bailey attacking in for 5 points with a stealthed undesirables onto my avatar. So undefended, because the stealth strikes always go in. I choose to let him draw a card. I can't take 3 more points of damage to bring myself down to 2. My home site is still jammed up with a ton of things on there. I think that his monks of Kabasa is there, the vampire bats are there, and then I have an unwarded holy warrior, Martyrs of Tomorrow, and a skeleton, which he is now handily dealing with. He plays Feast for Crows, and then he's going to pay the cost to recast them from the cemetery with its ability. So he's going to deal 2 points of damage to every above ground enemy minion. And the question that we had that came up really quick there was, if he kills the martyrs at the same time, does the Deathrite trigger and allow the ward to go on to apply to one of the existing minions on the board, not the skeleton because it can't be warded, but the holy warrior, before the holy warrior dies. And I think we call a judge just to double check, because we weren't 100% sure. And the judge confirms that they would all die, and not be allowed to vote. So I'm going to end up losing all 3 of my blockers there, which is absolutely devastating. Um, and then he's just going to attack in for door. He's going to attack in for door. And then I think he drew 2 cards, even though, I mean, I would have chosen just to take the additional damage because I'm already at door anyways. But it doesn't really matter. The game was mostly over at this point. I don't even think I had a way. I don't think I have a way in this deck to stabilize and rock back. But I think part of being a good sport and a good competitor in any game is, even though the odds are against you and you look and you think you're going to lose, and you likely are going to lose, you still do your best, and you still put up a fight to the end, and you know, make it a game for everyone. Like, make it a good game for everyone. Also in sorcery, like, you know, like, you never know. Like, it is a swingy game, so there are weird ways to stabilize the board and rock back. A little less so in limited, when you maybe don't have those power cards in your deck, and you know you don't have those power cards in your deck. But there's always the sorcery of all games is a game that has a higher variance, and there always is a chance that you're going to be able to do something like that. I think I'm just taking a little bit of extra time here just to look at what I have in my hand, to make sure there are no options available to me. But I think that's going to be it here. So, I mean, 4 mana for a smite, that'll get rid of the undesirables. Divine Lance, popping a ward to deal 2 damage. Unfortunately, I only have 2 wards. If I had 3 wards, I could clear that entire site, which would be huge. That actually might buy me another turn. But only popping it for 1, only popping it for 2. I can get the bat, and that's it, and then move. And then I have a blocker up with the mummy to defend against an attack from the monks, unless he has another way to push damage or a kill spell. And he has a kill spell in hand, so smite will strike for the final killing blow. So a good game. I think there were some play. There's that minor play error with the threshold for the monks. I don't know if that would have bought me maybe 1 more turn in tempo to try to figure something out earlier in the game, but I don't know. I don't think that was necessarily a deal breaker. And then my opponent just drawing the 2 cards on the strikes at the end there. I don't remember if I said go ahead and draw the cards or not. But again, I don't think it was going to matter at that point. The game was basically spiraling towards the ends there. Really fun game to play, and just a really kind opponent. Bailey was really nice. I think he reminded me at one point before I passed turn that don't forget to make a skeleton token from the pile of skulls, and things like that. And those are the types of players that I really enjoy playing with the most. Like, I feel like there's something to be said. There's certainly something to be said about players that want to play at the highest competitive level of TCG, but I think there's something equally great to be said about players that, you know, have tremendous sportsmanship and kindness and just a love of the game that we can all share when we play it together. So that was round 2. At this point, I think I was one one and one in 6 rounds of Swiss, and we will move on to round 3 next.